now the golden boy himself, Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar, thank you for making time for us, man.
Hey, you got it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oscar, let's talk a little bit about upstate New York and your connection there. Canastota, New York, the home of the Boxing Hall of Fame. You're a Hall of Famer. What does upstate New York mean to you?
Well, it's really dear to my heart. Obviously, I was very fortunate enough to be inducted into the Hall of Fame forever, and it means the world to me. I will forever dearly be indebted to everyone who was involved and to everyone who was there to support, because it was one of the best feelings that I've ever had. I mean, aside from winning gold, aside from winning 10 world titles, aside from obviously my kids, and I mean, it's the best feeling you get when being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, you'll never forget it.
Oscar De La Hoya is right now on 104.5 The Team. So, Oscar, what's tougher, getting in the ring or promoting other guys getting in the ring? What makes you more nervous?
Well, I would rather fight in the ring. It was much easier for me. You know, when you promote other fighters and you expect the very best from them, and they do give the very best they have, but it never fulfills your expectation. You know, I was an athlete who fought at the highest level, and I was very proud to always fight the very best at their prime, and so my expectations are so high of these young fighters that I promote. But still, I mean, I get a joy and it's a privilege to promote all these great fighters. Like tomorrow, for instance, it's going to be a great fight on HBO. So I'm looking forward to it.
I always loved, you know, when you fought and the other guy would go and like run his mouth like you're good looking. Like that's an insult in the like I haven't taken a punch since high school and I wish I looked like you.
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, I can remember one time I was fighting. I believe it was Felix Trinidad, and my whole psychological warfare was to never look at him in the eyes. And so we're in one of these face-offs. We're doing a promo tour, like I don't know where we were, in Texas or somewhere. And so he's staring at me. He's staring at me, and all of a sudden he tells me, "You know what? You're ugly." I couldn't help but look at him and just start laughing. So I mean, it was just hilarious. I mean, it was funny.
Oscar De La Hoya joins us. Oscar, for the fans here in upstate New York, what can they expect on this card coming up tomorrow night at the Turning Stone?
You know what? I mean, this card is on HBO for a reason, and we've put together a tremendous lineup. David Lemieux against Stevenson is going to be just a all-out brawl. I mean, these guys genuinely do not like each other. So, I mean, when you have that, and when you have two bangers and two guys who can just really give it to you, I mean, these guys are going to just go out for the fight of the year. I mean, I can already see it. These guys are knockout artists. They don't know how to take a step going backwards, and so the whole lineup from top to bottom is going to be terrific. So, and you always have a great seat in that arena. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I love that. Like, there's a lot of times when we're doing the show, I have to sit here and go, okay, this is why you know this guy. It's not the case right now. Oscar De La Hoya right now on 104.5 The Team.
And Oscar, you bring up possible fight of the year candidate coming up tomorrow at the Turning Stone. Maybe another fight of the year candidate is down the line later this year when Canelo Alvarez takes on Chavez Jr. What can we expect in that bout later on?
You know, for some strange reason, when you have two Mexican nationals fighting in the ring together, I mean, something happens. They just do not like each other, and they've been talking smack to each other for the last 6 years. You know, we were on tour with them again and recently, and they just cannot stand each other. So this is going to be another one of those candidates for fight of the year. I'm just fortunate enough to have great fighters under my company, and the fact that we can put these fights together for the fans. I mean, 2017, I strongly believe, will be the year for boxing where it makes its comeback, where it shows the world why it's the sweet science, where it shows the world why people love boxing so much.
Oscar De La Hoya with us right now. So, Oscar, one of the biggest talked about bouts that may never ever happen. What do you make of the whole Mayweather versus Conor McGregor conversation?
Well, it's like Canelo Alvarez said. I mean, it's a disrespect to boxing if McGregor were to fight in the ring, and it's a disrespect to the MMA if Mayweather were to fight in the octagon. It's two different sports. I mean, you know, I wouldn't if I were, let's say, Derek Jeter, for instance, you know, I wouldn't go down to the minor leagues, or I wouldn't go down and play softball, you know, because it just would be unfair. You know, it's two different sports. It's all hype. I mean, if I were the top dog in the UFC, which they just bought for $4.6 billion, I wouldn't put my top guy, McGregor, who's under contract, I wouldn't put him in the ring and then get ridiculed, because, you know, an MMA fighter cannot use his legs, cannot choke you out, cannot, you know, submit you. In boxing, it's a whole different strategy, and so the same thing goes with Mayweather. I mean, if he goes into the octagon, he's going to get tapped out by anybody.
But tell us, who would you be rooting for in the fight? Like, we know you're not a big Floyd fan. Would you actually root for boxing, or would you root for McGregor?
Well, I would have to be rooting for boxing. I mean, as much as I hate Floyd, I mean, I have to root for boxing.
Oscar De La Hoya with us, big fight card coming to the Turning Stone Casino. Oscar, we really appreciate your time, and you know, if it's okay, I'll just gush over you as a fan again sometime in the near future.
Yeah, and we know the fights are coming back. Oscar, we know they're coming back in April, man. So don't be surprised if your phone starts ringing again in April for us to talk again.
You got it, my man. It's a pleasure.
All right, man. Continued success. Thanks for